In part one of our coverage of the NC Auto Expo, we showed you a sampling of some of the hottest new vehicles coming your way in 2020. In part two, Daniel and I are going to put you behind the wheel of more in-demand metal from this year's show.
Now on 0 to 60 TV.
So Daniel was one of our videographers at LeithCars.com, and Daniel, you had to cover as much of the expo floor as Steve Ewan and I did, speaking with all the industry experts and our Leith BMW product experts at the show. Was there any one car that stood out to you the most?
The one that stood out the most to me was the Mercedes AMG GTR.
The GTR, yeah.
Like a lot of people call it the Incredible Hulk of cars.
Yeah.
It was a Hulk because they had the engine roaring. Everything was green. It was a beautiful car. I have to say that was my favorite car by far at the NC Auto Expo.
That's a great choice, Daniel. That was the one with that matte green finish that they call Green Hell, which is named after the famous racetrack, the Nürburgring in Germany, which is nicknamed the Green Hell because that car was built to like dominate it. So you can catch that in part one of our 0 to 60 coverage of the NC Auto Expo. But besides the impressive GTR from Mercedes-AMG, there were numerous debuts and some surprises too, as Doug Benny, our BMW genius from Leith BMW, explains. So it's always good to have a genius to speak with at the NC Auto Expo. And I definitely have one here in Doug from Leith BMW, our Raleigh store. And Doug, we are standing next to this hot fire orange, I'll call it. You can tell us what the name is in
Toronto
a second.
Red, to be very specific.
There you go, Toronto Red BMW X3M. The X3 is not new, so that's not the news, but the news is what?
New for 2020 is the M version of the X3. The X3 itself has been out, at least this generation, for about 2 years, but once we get into the mid-life cycle, the M guys get their hands on one, and then this is the result. So I would say the biggest factor of this new car is the engine. The specific code for this engine is called the S58. But the big news with that is it's reworked, but it will also be in the upcoming newly released M3 as well. So they're experimenting in the X3, but it'll be in our bread and butter M3 very soon. Also, we have a reworked drivetrain system. So with that, you have two modes, regular four-wheel drive mode, and then you are able to deactivate some safety systems and get into what's called four-wheel drive sport. So that'll add some play to the rear end, and you can do some hooligan type antics with this car for sure.
BMW donuts?
BMW donuts, we'll call it. So, as we mentioned earlier, this is a new paint color. It's called Toronto Red Metallic. There are a few other available colors that are new as well. And then if we go around into the inside, there is the new M Sport seat, which is specific to the X3 and only this X3. So very nice, comfy seat, holds you in place. The transmission is new and reworked as well. It's still the same company, ZF, but it's a very beefed up, very strong 8-speed to handle the extra horsepower. And speaking of horsepower, this car produces 473, so it's got all the beans if you need it.
Not bad for a mid-size SUV?
Definitely not bad.
Category.
Very, very fast car, probably capable of 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds.
So Mark, you spoke with the Ford regional rep about the new Shelby GT500. But you also had him show you another car that's getting a lot of buzz, and it wasn't really at the show.
Now, since we're talking about Mustang, we got to take you over here because I don't see it on the floor, but I see hints.
I think I know where this is going.
Where's the Mustang Mach-E that we've heard so much about, and what is it?
Right, so the Mustang Mach-E is coming down the pike, and we have a display here that's as close as we can get. Unfortunately, like you mentioned, we don't have a prototype here, but we are beyond thrilled to announce this vehicle just a couple short months ago, and it's going to be on its way. We're reserving customers' places in line right now for orders, so you can go to Ford.com and reserve your spot in line. and put a deposit down on one of these exciting all-electric SUV Mustang-inspired vehicles, and that is going to be the new level of Mustang performance going into the future and beyond with electrification. So we're not looking at the Mustang as a compliance play anymore, or rather electrification as compliance, but this is an exciting, enthusiastic, passionate vehicle that we can't wait to see on the roads.
Is that kind of tech inside of the industry term for, we have to build this vehicle to improve the overall environmental or impact or efficiency of the brand, but we're not going to do that. We could just put an electric motor in anything. We're going to make this thing a performance e-vehicle.
Absolutely.
And that's why you're calling it Mustang, right?
Absolutely. So in order to build on the brand equity that Mustang has had for 55 years, we really needed to be able to harness everything that the Mustang stands for. So the Mustang is proud, its design is bold, and anyone that drives it has a difficult time putting exactly into words how much fun it is. So we needed to be able to harness all of those attributes of our naturally aspirated Mustangs and Mustangs of the past, and build on that in a new and exciting way that builds into the future. And you guessed it, everyone's excited. They're hitting buttons left and right here.
Electric cars, in person or not, Daniel, along with muscle cars, sports cars, the NC Auto Expo for 2020 had just about everything there. Very impressive, including a new SUV from Mercedes-Benz that we had not seen before. So Steve Hewlin got the scoop on the newest entry from Mercedes, from our expert at Mercedes-Benz, Kerry.
Hello, move right in on this. Here we have John from Leith Mercedes-Benz of Cary, and our guest is right here. John, can you tell us a little bit about this vehicle? Make us want it. Nobody's seen it before. Make us want it.
Well, listen, for 2020, Mercedes-Benz came up with this GLB 250. It is an optional third-row seat vehicle. Very, very unique in its size and appearance. It does boast the artificial intelligence, which we call the Mercedes-Benz User Experience, MBUX command system. So therefore, you can stay focused on the road and simply maybe speak a command or two, and then Mercedes will simply respond with a succession of your request.
Well, I'm looking forward to a drive. Let me thank you for this.
Yes, sir.
And we'll see you in the dealership.
An electric car that was in the middle, Daniel, at this year's NC Auto Expo was from Audi, and we got a chance to learn more about the Audi E-TRON from Everett from Audi Raleigh. Everett, I can tell by the name embossed on the lower lip of the car here, this is the fantastic E-TRON.
That's right.
Your all-electric Audi SUV, right?
That's right. One thing that's rather remarkable, it is a fully electric vehicle, right? But it's an Audi first, right? So it's taken kind of the novelty away that we think of when we think about electric vehicles. And what we just notice here is that it's a really cool SUV from Audi, so it's there. But there are a few things that kind of separate as the electric vehicle market matures. So for example, unlike a lot of EVs on the market, the Audi's battery, and the battery of course is going to be one of the main components in an electrical vehicle, is made up of, instead of having one huge battery, it's made up of 36 individual cells. So as you go along, if you have any problem with the battery, or if it starts to lose power in years down the road, you'll probably be replacing a small cell, one of 36 versus an entire battery too. So we're looking for that to extend the warranty, or extend the life of the battery well beyond what we would expect it to last now.
Well, Daniel, thank you for helping me wrap up this episode of 0 to 60 TV. For Steve Hewlin, I'm Mark Arson. For more 0 to 60 episodes, click here.
And for more LeithCars.com content, click here.
See ya.